Yeah, so Juneteenth is a very special day in the life of people of African descent, and I think a special relevance to people of Africa as well. It is a day that marks the freedom signed by the Charter of the United States through the executive branch and then the congressional legislation in 1865. It marks what was happening in some of the states prior to that. It marks what was happening in periods of resistance of people of African descent to say, spiritually, we know we're already free. We've been living into that. But we need to live into it physically. And that means we need the legislative declaration to ensure that our freedoms are at least acknowledged. Now, very sadly, we know it did not bring about the radical change that was necessary, which is why we even continue to fight now. But it did matter that the government at that time recognized that spiritual freedom needed to be acknowledged by physical freedom. And that meant to leave the bonds of enslavement on the plantations and to give people of African descent a new opportunity to be free in that country and not live under the kind of bondage that they were under. It was, in those days, there were those people of faith who fought for the same thing, who were not of African descent. There were resistors who lived for the moral faith perspective of spiritual freedom in the carnation, in the physical. Unfortunately, there were very few. So people of faith had been on both sides of the aisle. And what legislation did was it forced the issue for communities of faith to say, oh my gosh, it's not just about being baptized, learning scriptures, sitting in the back rows of a church. No, it means we too are made in the image of God, the Emmanuel Day. So for people of faith, it's an affirmation of our faith. So the way forward is to continue to throw off the shackles. They haven't gone away. There are still vestiges of the Spirit. So we must continue to resist. We must continue to speak faith of spiritual freedom in our carnation if we want to be the people God is calling us for today. And so we must continue to invite people to join this great cause of hope and possibility. Because when one people is free, we're all freer. It all depends on us by God's grace to be all the people God has called us for.